So welcome to today's session. We are going to be talking about attachment. So I have covered this before. I think I did an attachment of object. So you can go to my YouTube channel and scroll through and find that if you'd like more. So I'm just going to do like a brief recap of what attachment is, and then we'll get straight into the meditation. So as I'm talking, if you'd like to move your body around so that you can sit for the next 20 or so minutes. Feel free to make whatever movements that you need to do, or remain in stillness, whichever feels good this morning. So the definition of attachment, according to Buddhism, is it's an exaggerated feeling of not wanting to be separated from someone or something. And because the label of pleasant is relative and based upon limited information, so just information that we choose, attachment includes an aspect of exaggeration or projection, as they say. So, for instance, like when you're with a partner, especially like the first 3 to 6 months, absolutely amazing, and that annoying thing is so cute, right? And then 6 months to a year later, that cute thing is now incredibly irritating. So that's where the attachment based on is that we become attached to something that's pleasant, and then we only think about that in a pleasant way, which causes problems because it will inevitably change, and then we suffer because we've placed this importance on a person or a thing. So we view that as something permanent, which actually it isn't, because people are ever changing, life events happen, people change, they go through depression, or they might go through some healing and be very different people, and because of that, they change, they're impermanent, and they get older, for instance, they die, because that's an inevitable thing of life. So we think that people or things make us happy, and that's not the case. The happiness comes within, that we need to be happy and accepting of this constant impermanence that's in life, because that is a fact of life, that is a reality of life. There's very few realities of life, but one of them is that pretty much everything is impermanent. Okay, so with that, with this concept that we're all attached to this idea of pleasure, so that we have to have, everything has to be good. I had some friends sometimes say, I'm not having a good day, or I just wish I could feel this way. Like, that's just unrealistic, completely unrealistic. And I always say that we're humans with a wide range of emotions. We will never be happy all the time. Things will never be pleasant all the time. Things that used to give us pleasure and make us happy will one day not. So we just have to remember that and be kind to ourselves. And with this meditation, we'll plant a little seed and start to work with that. So I would encourage you to think of a person for this. Most people are attached. I'd say probably 98% of the people that are watching this would be attached to a person. I'm not talking about a child, but you can do this with children, but let's not go there. That's pretty advanced. So, anybody that you think you would die if they were no longer on this earth, that it would be so terrible that you just wouldn't want to carry on. Or almost to that point, that if they left you, if there was a breakup or anything, I'd say keep it away from family, because also that can trigger a lot of things. So let's think of, or maybe like an ex-boyfriend, ex-partner, whoever you like. An ex-partner is a good one to do that with, especially if you're still kind of holding on to this concept that there's still this ideal person. There's a reason why you're not together, so they aren't who you think they are. Okay, so with that in mind, get into your meditation stance, whether it's lying down in a chair, sat on the floor, closing the eyes, or finding a soft, gentle gaze, focusing on creating a long spine, so imagining somebody's pulling us up, maybe with a golden thread pulling us up towards the ceiling or towards the wall, wherever you are. And begin with the breath. Taking in an inhale. Exhaling, sighing it all out. One more time, inhale. letting the shoulders fall as we're exhaling the air out. And coming to our open place, so our safe place, free of distraction, free of judgment. A vast spaciousness that allows us to think differently. To be a different person, even if it's only for a few seconds, just think in a way that we're not accustomed to generally. And imagining what smells are in this space, what sounds are in the space, the temperature. Coming back to the breath as we inhale, a white cloud of freedom, of acceptance. Exhaling out any sense of grasping, any unpleasant feelings. Inhaling this white cloud of acceptance and freedom, peace. Exhaling out any unpleasant or disturbing thoughts. Inhaling this white cloud of serenity and acceptance as we exhale a black cloud of unpleasant and disturbing thoughts and emotions. And in this beautiful, vast spaciousness, we're going to open the mind. Think differently, maybe even be a little bit uncomfortable for a while. Knowing that it's okay because we're in our safe, open space, free from judgment. And thinking of a person, and if you can't think of a person outside of the family, maybe a concept, an object, a perspective that you're attached to. Something, and if you don't really understand what being attached to is, this grasping, this feeling that if we lose this person, idea, whatever it is, if we lose that, that will be completely lost. So that's not reality. We'll keep going. And as I said earlier, try to think of a person outside of the family. So when I go through this meditation, I will say person, but feel free. If you have a concept, object, or perspective, just replace person with whatever you are meditating upon. So thinking of this person, how have they made you unhappy? How have they upset you? Or if it's a concept, what happens when it's not achieved, when things don't go to plan? And if it's an object, do you worry about damaging or losing it? Does it suddenly become a focus? And objects are replaceable. It doesn't matter. Things can happen. They can be damaged, ruined, lost, stolen. But really all of that can happen, and we can keep our inner peace if we have it. So how has this attachment made you unhappy? Now list your expectations of this attachment. What do we hope this person is going to do, or expect what this person is going to do? Or what do we think this concept is? It maybe like, I don't know, that you must, to food. So healthy food, superfood, all this crazy crap that happens. Maybe grasping onto this concept, and if you have a bar of chocolate, or something like that, then how does that, or what do you expect this diet to do, for instance? Do you expect it to change your life, to change your mind frame? Like that food doesn't do that, your mind does that. What do you expect this person to do? What makes the attachment so desirable? So for instance, is it because you know somebody with an amazing body that follows this diet? Or is it because this person has walked in and changed your life at a time when you really needed it? Why are they so desirable? If you find the mind wandering, accept it. It's completely normal. And bring it back to the object of attachment. What makes it so desirable? How does this object make you act? Do you ever act aggressively or lie or fib to get what you want? Or to keep it? Do you shout at somebody because they offer you chocolate when you're on the superfood diet? Do you get angry at somebody when they don't live up to the expectation that you have? And again, admitting all of these things is absolutely amazing because I do it. I get very angry when I think, well, you're not supposed to be like that. That's not how I viewed you. And this is totally normal. We need to, if you want change, meaningful change, we need to accept that we do this. Nobody is perfect. I'll be the first to admit that. Give me a call. I'll tell you everything that's wrong with me. So, do that. And people like me because I'm honest about that. So be honest with yourself. That's why I like myself. I won't change that. Sometimes people tell me I'm too open. Well, I don't really care. That's who I am. That's what I like about myself. Because when I understand how something makes me act, then I can change it. I can look at it, explore it. So take this time to admit, yeah, sometimes my actions are not good. But deep down, I'm an okay person. So it's okay if you act aggressively or are feeling a little bit embarrassed about how you act sometimes right now. Just let it happen, accept it. And does this object of attachment, whether it's a person, idea, concept, truly bring you happiness? Or does it destroy your peace of mind? And be honest when you think about that question. Nobody is in your mind. Nobody knows. Be honest with yourself. Do they truly bring you happiness, or does it destroy your peace of mind because you're trying to grasp onto this concept? The mind is wandering or trying to tell you little lies. Just come back to the question. Does the attachment truly bring you happiness, or does it destroy your peace of mind? Bringing the mind back, I'm giving you some extra time to focus on this question because it's very, very important. This is where we're stabbing at that ignorance, the attachment. Be honest. can a person or a concept or an object truly bring you happiness? Or does it destroy your peace of mind? It is a trick question because the answer is it destroys your peace of mind. So if you haven't come to that yet, maybe bring your mind to that. Does the attachments have the ability to give you everlasting happiness? Until the day you die, will this thing or this person, idea, give you everlasting happiness? Again, be honest. The more we're holding on to an object or grasping on a concept, the more difficult it is to be honest with these questions. So again, forgive yourself if you are saying, yeah, it does. Because the reality is that no, it doesn't. Nothing has the ability to give you everlasting happiness except for controlling your mind. And just be aware of that, This is the beginning. If there's something really that you're really holding tightly onto, give yourself time. Be accepting. Now imagine a space between you and the object. Okay, so there's this you're in your safe space, so you're in your open space. And this image of the object, not the actual object, but the image of the object or the diet or the concept, whatever it is. There's a space in between you, so you can reach your arm out and you can't touch it. There's enough space. You can see it. Imagine this space. The space is full of acceptance, of positive feelings, positive, pleasant vibrations. And with this space between you and the object, are you still able to enjoy the object without grasping or clinging? So even though you can't reach out, are you still able to enjoy that? Are you still able to enjoy the object, even knowing that the space is there, which is always there, and somebody could come in and take this person or object away? And you'll still be okay. It might not be easy for a while, it might be very difficult, but you'll still be okay. If you can hear that water running, it's not someone using the toilet, it's my neighbor's upstairs, the water drains. That's distracting you. So with the space between yourself and the object, view it as ever-changing. So what will the person look like in 20 or 30 years, both physically and internally? And if it's an object, perhaps it will go out of style. Are you going to wear your favorite dress or pair of trousers for the next 30 years? Perhaps it will go out of style, perhaps you'll lose or gain weight, perhaps there'll be a hole in it. So view the object as ever-changing. Imagine people who don't think your object of attachment is as attractive. So maybe people think you're mistaken. So this person isn't as ideal as you think, or this object isn't as great as you think, or this concept is a bunch of crap. Whatever it is. What do they say about it? And again, this isn't to make you feel bad or to It's not to make you feel bad. I'll just leave it at that. It's a way to really explore. Because sometimes we become so attached to a person or an idea that we can't actually function if it's not the way that we think it is. And it isn't. Meditation is about mind training. It's about coming to a different perspective of reality. So again, imagining the space, if the space has changed, imagining the space between you and the object. And you can still look at this person, but all of a sudden this space has allowed us to look at the person from different angles, from a different view. And that person is still the same person. They haven't changed. And we accept that maybe the person isn't as we think they are. And that's okay. We accept them for all of their good qualities and their bad qualities. And we also accept that we'll be okay with or without them. And taking this feeling of acceptance, this feeling that it's okay if that person isn't always who we think they are meant to be, that it's okay if we break away from an idea or a concept or a diet or whatever it is, some health plan. And opening up our little rucksack of meditation tools, placing in a learning tool from today, or maybe an idea from today. Taking a deep inhale, really filling the body all the way up through the shoulders. Exhale, exhaling out any unpleasant feelings, relaxing the shoulders again. Keeping that long spine as we place the rucksack on our backs. With our shoulders tall, our chest sticking out. With the eyes closed, imagining that we're walking away from our open space to whatever reality is in front of us. Becoming aware of the sounds around us that are far away from us. And beginning to gently open the eyes and taking in the surroundings. Not placing any judgment on what's happening. You could be in quite a chaotic environment at the moment. You might be in a peaceful environment. You might feel great right now, or you might feel a bit scared, because sometimes it's very scary if you're not used to doing this kind of meditation to imagine that the object of attachment is no longer as we see it. So that's completely normal. So however you're feeling right now, accept that. And as I state the 4 measurables, think of somebody to dedicate this practice to. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May they be free of suffering and the cause of suffering. May they never be dissociated from the supreme happiness which is without suffering. May they remain in boundless equanimity, free from attachment to close ones and rejection of others. Free from attachment to close ones. Remember that. We can live a much more peaceful, serene life when we don't have attachments. So knowing that people will come and go and we appreciate them and are grateful for them and we're in our life, but to have that expectation that they will always be in our life or always be the same person in our life is very unrealistic, but very common way of thinking. So it's about gradually changing this way of thinking and opening the mind. And this is something that I practice regularly. I'm very attached to people. And you know, it works when somebody kind of hurts me or, you know, does something that's unexpected. I do think about this concept, and I think about how I act towards other people as well. I'm not always the person I expect, the friend I expect, or the partner I expect to be. So again, this is a difficult concept for you. Fine, that's where you are right now. There's nothing to worry about. As always, I'm here to answer questions. I am always here to hear your ideas of what kind of meditations you'd like to do. And I thank you very much for joining. So have a very mindful day. And just to remind you that this is the